After breastfeeding 5 babies, a year plus, never using any kind of formula, I'm here to bring you my top breastfeeding tips, my tippy top tips. And at the very end, I'm even just gonna lightning round, just layer in a bunch of tiny little practical tips because I want you to walk away from this video feeling empowered to breastfeed if that's what you wanna do. This video could be spicy, it could be controversial because here's the deal. I am not gonna hold anything back, even though it could come across wrong. It could make you feel less than if you've struggled, but that is not my heart. Hear my heart. My heart is only to help those who are wanting to really, really breastfeed. And I'm just not gonna hold anything back. And if you feel any kind of shame, any of that from this video, hear me, that was not my heart's intent, but you know. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna share just candidly what has helped me in breastfeeding. So hey, my name is Lana. This is Girl Teach Me. I created this whole channel to help you as a new mom. You know, you're probably feeling overwhelmed. You're definitely feeling sleep deprived. And I wanna help you just transform into that peaceful, loving, gentle mama that you have always wanted to be. So that's my heart behind this channel. If that resonates you, I hope you'll stay and hit subscribe. And I say this in almost all of my videos because I want you to know if you happen to be pregnant, I have also had 5 natural childbirths, and it is my heart's desire to just share these game-changing secrets that I kind of learned along the way, and I wish I had known at the very beginning. So there's a free class down below. It's 5 key decisions you need to make to transform your whole birth experience. And I did not know these things the first time around, and I really hope I can save you a lot of pain and a lot of heartache by just going and taking this free class. So make sure you check out that free class if you happen to be pregnant after this video. Okay, and this just needs to be said, right? You know, it's that caveat at the very beginning. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lactation consultant. Who am I? I'm just a mom who has breastfed her babies year plus 5 times. That's what I am. And so of course, if you're seeing anything that just seems off, trust those mama instincts and get some genuine help. You know, I'm just here sharing tips. That's what I'm doing. So I just want to lay that out from the very beginning that if something feels off and you're trying to breastfeed a new baby, by all means get some help. But I want to let you know that not all lactation consultants are kind of created equal. And I've actually seen a lot of stories actually from a lot of friends and family where lactation consultants were actually the opposite of being helpful. So just really make sure you have a lactation consultant who believes in you, who believes in your ability to breastfeed, who's not gonna sabotage you by just slapping a nipple shield on you and saying that's the way you've gotta breastfeed the rest of the time, but somebody who actually is pro breastfeeding, because you would think being a lactation consultant that you would be, but that's not always the case. So just use some discretion and really try to interview somebody if you want to have a lactation consultant on board, which I highly recommend that you try to in the very beginning, getting some help. It is a very unnatural thing, you know, at first, and it is instinctual and then it's not. And so even finding a woman at church who has breastfed a lot of babies can be such a game changer. Like if you can, I've even had like young moms watch me breastfeed just because it's really nice to know a couple of tips, you know, the way you hold a baby, things like that. So that's just another caveat. It's like maybe find somebody who'd be willing to let you watch or would let you pick their brain. That's another really great tip. Okay, my first big tip is that, I'm just gonna say it, I really think that babies need to be on the breast on demand. The first 3 months, I think as little separation from mom as possible. And I think one of the keys to my breastfeeding journey has been that I've never used a pacifier. And the reason why I didn't is because I took a breastfeeding class before I had my first baby. And she talked about nipple confusion and she talked about just really allowing our milk supply to establish. And she said, Lana, think about it. You're somewhere, you know, you're out at a store and your baby's hungry. And you need to leave and go feed that baby, or you need to find a place to feed the baby. Go in a dressing room at Target, feed the baby. But you don't really want to stop what you're doing. It's so easy to pop a passy in their mouth and kind of like bridge that gap. And I'm not judging pacifier users. Hear me, this is what I've done. And I feel like it's worked for me. What you have to do at that point is stop what you're doing and go breastfeed a baby, right? Because your baby is saying they need food, your body might be leaking out. That's one thing that happens is like sometimes when it's time to feed, when you're getting really full, you can leak out. And even if my baby's not hungry, I will put that baby to the breast because that milk needs to come out, and that is my body saying so. But you will stop what you're doing and just go and breastfeed a baby. And that is telling your brain and your body that we need to keep making milk because this baby needs milk, and it's regular and it's often, and it's not on a perfect 3-hour schedule. It might be in between, but that drives that milk supply up. And I just don't think enough women understand that. They think they can pop the passy in to kind of like bridge that gap. My lactation consultant said, like, every time you use the passy, you're not using your human nipple, and that's a lost opportunity to signal to your brain and to your body, keep making milk, keep making milk. And so I just think a lot of women don't understand that. The other thing is when you first have a baby, they need to be on your skin. That signals body, brain, make more milk, instinctual, and they're getting to suck. It's the 5 S's. It's called the happiest baby on the block. And it's like shushing, swaying, side-lying, sucking, swinging. And those 5 things are very calming to a baby, especially in the 4th trimester, which is those first 12 weeks after birth, because they're going through like kind of like a shock to their whole nervous system that they are out of a perfectly temperature regulated little womb, all curled up. And they sucked probably their thumb, in the womb. Like I literally have ultrasound pictures of my baby sucking their fingers or their thumb, and that's just soothing to them. And so sucking is soothing to them. And I think sometimes, the sleep scheduling thing, like schedule them at 6 weeks or 3 months if you want to sleep through the night, that can actually be very detrimental to a mom's milk supply. It may not be detrimental at first, but she may dry up at 6 months. And so I think, you don't actually want baby to sleep through the night early on, because that is going to signal to your body and to your brain, keep making milk. And also it's going to keep your period from returning quite so fast. That's controversial, but there are 5 things you have to do completely in tandem. You can't leave one of them out, and it will keep your period pretty much from coming back. It's been the case for me. And if one of them comes out, like if you supplement with formula at all, or if you supplement with other foods, that starts to signal to your brain, I guess we've recovered enough to get our period back and have another baby. And so that can be a huge benefit of not introducing formula, right? Is because it's signaling to your body and your brain like, hey, we are fully supporting another human right now. We do not have the bandwidth to take on another pregnancy right now. So the first big tip is like baby needs to be on breast on demand. That's been the case for me. And what that looks like is just being at home and resting, having the freedom to have your shirt off and letting baby be on you and suckling. They're gonna breastfeed for a long time. And sometimes they're not even pulling necessarily milk out, but they're sucking, and it's still signaling to our body and to our brain to like establish that milk supply. So it's helpful. And the one thing I wanna say about that too is like, yes, sometimes it's painful. Like some people will say you should have 0 pain whatsoever. I personally disagree, because it's always been painful for at least a week or 2 for me. And I've had babies with better latches and some with not as great latches. I've never had to do a revision, but it was usually resolved with position changes, making sure that baby's chest was completely to my chest. Like if they were breastfeeding, they're completely turned, not just their head at an angle. And I co-slept with my babies. I know that's controversial too, but I liked keeping my babies close so I could know when they were hungry. I didn't miss that hunger cue. So those were some things that were very, very helpful, but I just want to let you know that it might be painful. And that's where, like I said, getting a lactation consultant on board can be helpful, because they can help you with different positions. When your nipple is sore in one way, you can flip to a football hold where their feet are going around your back and their head is right here. And that can be helpful for different position changes. It's hard when they're super little because they don't have head control, but eventually they find the breast and they have head control, and it gets so much easier and faster. But I know at the beginning it's long sessions, and that can be hard and wear and tear on your nipple. I think just letting them air out really good is really helpful. Nipple cream is really good. But a lot of people use a nipple shield because they're getting cracked or maybe they're bleeding a little bit, but that can cause nipple confusion. I know it can be a good bridge for a little while, but just in my experience, anytime that's introduced for far too long, it becomes like a crutch, and then pretty quickly baby's only accepting bottle and not breast. The second thing is, I have never questioned my body's ability to produce milk. Why? I have my master's in sports psychology, and I really believe that what we think about is very important to what plays out in our body. I'm not talking about manifesting, I'm just talking about that God has given us a very powerful brain. And it's kind of like a kid who goes into a ball game and they're like, this is the best team, like I'm gonna lose. And it's like, and then they lose, or then they kind of self-sabotage themselves. And I think I see this play out time and time again with women, is that they doubt their body's ability to do what it's supposed to. I think this starts with birth, because we're given the narrative in the birth world, and even from an OBGYN sometimes, that like birth is just, it's terrible, it's painful, and you need to be saved from it, and your body can't do it, so you know, let me save you from it. You're kind of like a victim to birth, and somebody needs to swoop in and save us. I think sometimes we get that kind of carries into our breastfeeding journey, and we feel like, well, I'll breastfeed if I can, or I'll breastfeed if my body can make enough milk. But then we're constantly like kind of obsessive about weighing the baby before a feed, weighing the baby after a feed, or maybe even we have a pediatrician on board who is like, okay, we're gonna need to come in for a weight check tomorrow and the next day and the next day. But your body is gonna be stressed if you're having to get ready, get in the car, take a baby there, and kind of perform. It feels like you have to perform. When really in the 4th trimester, the best thing we can do is be at home, be like in our PJs, be resting, recouping. Our bodies have gone through a lot, our babies have gone through a lot, bonding with our babies skin to skin, drinking nourishing soups, and you know, keeping stress kind of at bay, and healing. Like, you know, postnatal depletion, some of it starts because we never heal. We never get that time to heal. And I feel like in our culture, there's like this cultural narrative, like how fast can you bounce back? But really, I would just, you know, beware of a pediatrician who is gonna like ever make you doubt your ability to make milk, or make you do like feeding or check-ins, weight check-ins. Like, honestly, how stressed does that seem to have to perform? Like your baby has to gain a certain amount of weight. Like, you are in control. You are the mom. It's a business. They get money every time you come in, and you are in control. You're the mom. And so it's hard, because baby's stomach, like if I can find a little picture, I'll put it up here. A baby's stomach is literally like the size of a marble when they're born, and what's coming out of your nipple is maybe nothing, and that's okay, or colostrum, which literally comes out in the tiniest drops, but it's called liquid gold. And now people are drinking like cow's colostrum, which has been dried, because it is such a phenomenal healing thing that can help heal the gut. And one thing I learned, I took a maternal childhood nutrition class in my grad school, best class I ever took. Like, it was seriously so good. I left class every day and my mind would just have been exploded with all the things she talked about with birth and breastfeeding. And I'd be walking back from class with like my then boyfriend, who's now my husband, and he'd be like, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to talk about breastfeeding and then we're done, because like I just can't handle it. But one thing she harped on was the importance of colostrum. Like how if a baby is born early, sometimes like in the colostrum you can find the things that help a baby kind of like miss those gains that they would have made in womb. It's so crazy. And how it like completely coats the gut lining and prepares the gut lining for milk. And it's liquid gold, because the power packed amount of nutrition in like a drop is absolutely mind blowing. I think God is so creative that he made colostrum liquid gold. And so the baby is getting that, and you can barely see it come out, and their stomach is like the size of a marble. And so if we're expecting ounces and ounces to come out at the very beginning, you're not failing. Your body's doing exactly what it can take like 3 days for our milk to come in. And if we have had any kind of intervention like C-section or Pitocin, or we've been induced or things like that, that can delay sometimes milk. And so don't stress. Like when it hits, it hits. It is a lot. And you can get engorged, and that's another thing we can talk about. But I just want you to know that your body's not failing you, and if you can try your darndest to join me and just trusting that our bodies know what to do. Our babies know what to do, our bodies know what to do. And I think it's really served me well to just trust the Lord and trust that my body knows what to do and not doubt my body from the very beginning and kind of obsess about if a baby is gaining. I understand that there's probably a certain percentage of babies that need help. Kind of like birth is wild, and 95% of the time we don't need interventions. Like according to the World Health Organization, like worldwide, 5% of births need intervention because of the fall, right? Nothing's perfect. Like that's why we need Jesus to come back and make everything right finally forever, is because it's not always just perfect. But what I'm saying is, let's give our bodies a chance. The last thing I'll say is I have intentionally distanced myself from anyone, anything, any kind of input that is making me doubt my body's ability to breastfeed. Like I have had family, especially the first time, because after a while they kind of leave you alone once they figure out that you know what you're doing, and but like people in my family who had never breastfed, and it's like, well, what are you doing? That's weird. Like it made people uncomfortable because culturally, especially in the South, women did not breastfeed for like 100 years. They fed their babies with like Karo syrup. It's literally crazy. I don't know how any of them survived. But also we have to recognize that if our pediatrician is sending us home with kits of formula, just in case, they get kickbacks for these kind of things. Like whole entire hospital wings have been built by formula companies. And so it's a business. Like I don't think we realize, like pediatricians, hospitals, like the whole medical system is a business. So you have to be such a good advocate for yourself. And one great resource that I have loved time and time again is La Leche League. One thing you could even do is go on ChatGPT, and if you have an issue like, I'm engorged, help for engorged breast, what would La Leche League say about this? This has been such a great resource, The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding. I cannot recommend it enough. Every single situation you can even think of, even down to like how you want to wean your baby, it's all in here. Questions, just help. Like it even shows you the different holds that you can have, ages and stages. How do you breastfeed a baby with teeth? Just like different holds, like example right here. Like as your baby gets older, they can lay right here and you can just lay back. Different things, different positions. I can't recommend this book enough. It is like every question you could possibly ask about breastfeeding, it's probably in here. It's probably got an answer. Even just like weird, like if you have nipples that don't look like they're perfectly made to breastfeed, it's going to talk about this in here. This would be like a manual for any lactation consultant. It's just a great thing to add to your Amazon cart if you're a mom wanting to breastfeed or if you're pregnant. I cannot recommend it enough. Another thing that's been really helpful to save my back is it's called My Breast Friend. Look, hilarious, like 2 boobs on the top right here. But what you do is you strap it around your waist and it gives support to your back. Now, I understand that the boppy does the same thing, but not really, because the boppy is really big behind your back and you can't sit upright with it. It's just awkward. So you clip it on and then lay your baby right here. Now you can't just walk around with that. The baby's gonna fall off. But when you're sitting there breastfeeding, having the personal self-discipline, because that's what it takes, but especially at the beginning when you're having to support baby's head, just having this, it's got a little cup holder right here, and you can just tighten it, and you can get different covers for these. So in case it gets kind of dirty or poopy, you can just change the cover for it. My Breast Friend, I'll leave a link for that down below, but been endlessly helpful for that. My friend who is a stickler on posture, which I could definitely work on, was like, holding your baby and supporting your baby is so bad for our back. So just getting a break and letting the baby just rest on the My Breast Friend is so very helpful. I feel like some other things that have been really, really helpful is just having the discipline to stop what you're doing and breastfeed if your baby is hungry. Another thing is, if you get engorged, what you can do is get in the shower and self-express. I know that feels weird and sounds weird. At the very beginning, I would just like hope that engorgement would go away, and then I got mastitis a couple of times. And so now if I get any lumps at all, I'm like on it. I'll take an ibuprofen to help with the inflammation, and then I'll get in the shower with hot heat and a rag, and I'll just work down from here and work it out on both sides. until my breast starts to feel like kind of soft and supple instead of being like just hard. And so you got to kind of get that milk off of you. I will wake a baby up if I am full of milk. I'm like, take this milk from me. So the other thing is, I honestly don't pump a lot. I hear moms say like, I had to pump because I had an oversupply of milk. I think you had an oversupply of milk possibly because you continue to tell your body to produce that much milk. And I understand a lot of women want to have a big stash in the freezer. It makes them feel secure. I understand that, but what you have to also understand is every time we're making milk, our body's having to pull nutrition out, and it's energy we're using. And so if you're starting to feel depleted at all, I don't know that it's actually worth it to have a ton of storage of milk, because you're kind of pumping and you don't know if you're going to use that milk. And so it might be better just to feel better and be able to give more energy to your baby. I pumped the first time with my first because I had to. I was working out of the home and I did not want to. I had to kind of finish up a commitment. And so I pumped part of the time. He literally just like wouldn't take it. So then I ended up nursing all night long, probably because I didn't introduce a bottle soon enough. But again, I was trying to avoid nipple confusion. I straight up hate the pump. I just hate it. I know it's a great invention, but after the first time I just bought a hand pump, and I only pumped when I absolutely had to, because I felt like when I would pump a lot, it would cause kind of like a discrepancy in how much my body would make. So let's say like Monday through Friday I would pump, but then I wouldn't pump on Saturday and Sunday. I would start to get lumps because my body was like always in like this dysregulation. And so I never got mastitis more than when I used an electric pump. Just maybe if you had the discipline to do it right. But there's so many amazing benefits. Like for instance, when you breastfeed, baby on breast, like not pumping and giving a bottle, your body actually, the saliva in your baby's mouth goes into your nipple. Your body creates antibodies for whatever that baby's fighting and then sends it back out to your baby in the milk. It's literally amazing. Like so many amazing things that happen from breastfeeding. I just think there's so much bonding. It sends so many good hormones to you and baby. Like I could go on and on and on about it. I hope this video has been such a help to you and giving you hope that you can do this. At least, give it your all. Give it a good shot. Get some help on board. But I think our culture just says fed is best, and the truth is nothing is better for your baby than breast milk. It's just hands down. It's what God intended. It's what God made. I don't think that in any kind of factory they can make the components of what amazing breast milk has in it. Of course, if a baby's starving, we're glad there's an alternative. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's so many benefits from breastfeeding. So I just really encourage you to do your own research. Maybe grab that Lactation book, The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding. Give it a shot. Tell me down below. I would love to hear from you if you're a seasoned mom from breastfeeding. What has helped you the most? What helped you get through your hard struggles? What were your hard struggles? Share down below. We would love to hear that. It's not Lana teach me, it's girl teach me. There are so many valuable things that you guys have to share. So I'd love to see that down below. Remember, if you're pregnant, there's a free birth class down below for you. And I'll see you again in the next video.
It's so unnecessary dwelling about the past, 'cause I know that God is good. He led me to where I'm at. Sometimes I feel like giving up, you're giving in, but everything happens for a reason. It won't always be blue skies ahead. Sometimes you might need a helping hand, just like I am. Sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like I am. Sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping